Welcome everybody. Trainer Joe here, Facebook Live. How much should you weigh? We were in a group. I was leading a group and I've got a lady in it who's lost a significant amount of weight. And she feels pretty good where she's at, but she said, but it still shows that I'm overweight when I look at the charts. And she's just wanting to find out from me, how much should she weigh? So I wanted to address that. Here's a chart. This is for somebody 5'6" tall. It also shows the 5'7". Might be a little blurry, but I'm going to tell you what it says. So 5'6" tall has you at 118 pounds up to 148 pounds. That would put you at a normal weight. So 5'6", you should weigh between 118 and 148 to be considered normal, healthy weight. You with me on that? Now let's take this 5'6" and let's move it to overweight. 5'6", if you weigh 155 pounds, you're overweight. Up to 179. What happens after 179? We're still at 5'6". I just want to make it simple. Now some people say, I'm just too short, and I get that. But if you're 5'6" tall and you're over 179, so here it is, obese. If you're 186, you're obese to 216. From there we go up to the next phase. If you're 100 pounds overweight, you're morbidly obese, like the president, right? That's what Nancy Pelosi said, he was morbidly obese. Well, he's not morbidly obese. He may be obese, but he's not morbidly obese. Morbidly obese is 100 pounds overweight. Is this important? Does it really matter? Well, let's talk about it for a minute. I think for one thing, when this girl was asking me, she said, Joe, I've lost weight, feeling pretty good. Do I really need to match up what these charts tell me? Do I really need to be that thin? And I told her, I said, for one thing, it's great that you're at the point where you're asking, right? Because you're not at that place where it was obvious. You're close now, so congratulations for that. But there is a reason for charts. The research says it's best if you're in this category. I sold life insurance for a lot of years, and if you weighed too much, we just wouldn't insure you. Why? Because you were a high risk. So if for no other reason, you're at a higher risk of dying when you're heavier. Now, there are other factors, and I will give you that. I'm not one that says it's really critically important that you be within these ranges. But the charts are there for a reason. But if we got technical, I've heard that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson would be considered obese based on his height and weight. Certainly he would be overweight. Maybe obese. Is he unhealthy? Probably not. So we do need to look at other factors, but let me ask you this. What are you going to use to determine whether you're overweight or not? If not a chart. What do you have in mind? You either are or you're not. I think what I try to get to with people is to a place of asking, why do you weigh what you weigh? Okay, and then a lot of times you're going to get excuses, and what I've found is the excuses come because people are attached to food in an unhealthy manner. And when they make excuses for how much they weigh, they're saying, and I don't want to change that. I like the way I'm relating to food, or even though I don't like it, I'm not ready to stop doing that. And that's usually the problem. Whether you're 5 pounds overweight or 205 pounds overweight, if food has your number, then you have a problem. And if you've lost a lot of weight, but food still has your number, you're probably going to gain it back. What I try to help people do is get freedom. Let's get freedom from the food thing. The weight change is going to be a byproduct of that, and you're probably going to end up in a healthy weight range. But you're going to have to decide that you really want to deal with that. Paul said, all things are permissible for me, but not all things are beneficial, and I won't let anything rule me. When food is ruling you, you're probably not going to want to look at the weight charts because you ain't ready to do it yet. You with me on that? Ask why you weigh what you do. What's the reason for it? My wife was talking to a dear friend of hers, and my wife said, and they had a very, it was a relative of hers, and she told this lady, she said, you'd be healthier, you would, if you lost 35 pounds, because she was dealing with COPD, and they were close enough to have that conversation without it being awkward. And the lady she was talking to said, if I lost 35 pounds, I wouldn't get to eat hardly anything. I get it. We want to eat what we want to eat. But to what extent are you going to eat it even if you weigh too much? Even if it means you're going to be obese and have health issues? Because we give so much to this, well, I like my stuff. I don't know if it's worth giving away my stuff or not having the stuff that I want, even if it means a healthy weight. And if you can't get there where you decide, you know what, it's important enough for me to be a healthy weight to hold this stuff more loosely. Once you're willing to do that, you find that you are believing a lie anyway over here that this is going to make me happy. Behind every self-destructive thing you do is a lie you believe. If food makes you happy, then the only happy people weigh 400 pounds. You've got to get past that this is what's going to make me happy. It's not. I wouldn't get to do hardly anything. Dan says, I used to eat to make me happy. So Dan goes from here to here. Should Dan worry about what the charts say? I think he's made so much progress that he's probably pretty thrilled with where he is right now. Now, there's a chance that even here, he's overweight. So sometimes we're looking at, well, look at where I've come from. I feel so good. I've got muscle in my body. It's a new ball game for me. I think that's worth applauding. Now, when you get to a place and you're like, here I am, then you re-ask yourself, does food have my number? That's my concern. If you're like, you know what, I've got freedom, I'm healthy, I'm doing the right things, and you're off the chart by 5 or 10 pounds, I'm not going to criticize that. I want you to feel good about yourself, how you feel, how you look. I want your doctor, I'm going to yield to your doctor. If they say, hey, you need to lose 20 pounds, and I said it's not a big deal, then go lose 20 pounds. Doctors tend to agree with me. We tend to agree with each other, but I will defer to the doctors. Yeah, Dan's looking great here. One of my concerns when people are looking at that, but they're not considering that food has their number, is that it's important that we understand, and it's important that we get to the place to where we realize the issue. Because if you were talking to somebody that had a drinking problem, and they said, I'm just not going to worry about it. I'm just not going to worry about it. So they get drunk 6 nights a week. And I realize that's different than overeating, but what if you have somebody that's just overeating all the time and they're obese? Wouldn't you tell the alcoholic, hey, it's time to do something. It's important. You probably need to go to AA once a week, twice a week, 5 times a week, every day until this is better. But you would know alcoholism is so much worse, is it? Because if you look at statistics, you know how many people die every year from alcohol-related causes? 88,000. You know how many die from obesity and overweight causes? More than triple that, 300,000. We just don't take the obesity and overweight as seriously as I think we should. So we just tolerate, well, I'm overweight, and we don't care what the charts say. Or we excuse and we say, they're not important. You shouldn't even weigh yourself. Well, what are you using to base on whether you're healthy or not? When you have a heart attack? Because a lot of people say, well, I'm healthy. Then they have a heart attack and then they're surprised. You were obese. The surprise was that it took so long. You've got to decide, these charts are here for a reason. Food has my number. It's time for me to get set free. I'm making excuses and get on with it. It's important. People die from being overweight, obese. Way more than die from alcohol-related death. It's important. That's too heavy. I don't know what she weighs, but that's closer to correct. You're going to have to face the music at some point. Just realize, I'm going to have to do something. This ain't right. You with me? We together? I'm your friend. I want to help you. I walk with you. I guide you. But you need to take steps to get it dealt with. So you can sign up for our next 21-day transformation. It's virtual online. We've got one starting Tuesday. We'll put a link on here. If you got questions about it, get a hold of me, message me. You don't need to go around overweight. You get to decide what size you want to be. It's not easy. For a lot of people, it's incredibly difficult, and they have to decide if it's worth the sacrifice or not. Once they start believing the truth about what the sacrifice really is, they love it. People, I show you their pictures, Dan on here, he'll tell you, oh my God, why did I wait so long? I love it. This is life. What I was living before, thinking food was going to solve my problems, now I see it, and that was a lie. So join us. Trainer Joe signing off. Thanks for joining me.